Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to a special episode, what are we, 5?
Yeah, episode 5.
Episode 5.
Don't tell me you're losing. Don't tell me you're losing. You can't count. Come on, man. It's not like this is episode 387 or something. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You had to think about it for a second.
I'm terrible.
It's all
episode 5.
Yep, episode
Here
5.
on MarkOutMania.
Episode 5.
Jeez. How's it going, Patrick?
It's going good, man. A big week. Well, I say a big week. Kind of a big day, I guess. In wrestling news, some stuff came up earlier this morning with Rich Swann. Of course, obviously, we'll dive into that. A couple of big, this time of year where, WWE's kind of, taking a little bit of a break, I guess, for Christmas coming up, and then things are going to obviously heat up as soon as the new year turns and everybody's getting ready for the Royal Rumble. So, but the next couple of weeks, it seems like it's going to be somewhat of a quiet time, at least in WWE. You got the World Tag League Finals that are happening tomorrow in New Japan, and then, of course, Wrestle Kingdoms. That's going to heat up in the next couple of weeks as well. So a lot of things going on or in and out of the ring, I guess you should say. You want me to go ahead and go over the rundown right now? Today we're going to talk about the Raw review. Matt Hardy's officially broken. Really excited about that. Roman Reigns defeated Jason Jordan to retain his Intercontinental title. The Bar beat the Shield with the help of Samoa Joe to retain their tag team championships. We're going to go over the what happened on SmackDown. Randy Orton defeated Sami Zayn, and it sets up now a tag team match at Clash of Champions with Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Shane McMahon will be the special guest referee. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lose. They're fired. Dang. So that's going to be interesting there. Also, the World Tag League Finals. We have your Block A and Block B winner. We also have the full card of the World Tag League Finals that will take place tomorrow. We'll go over that as well. Of course, the big news, Rich Swann was arrested this morning, suspended now from WWE. We'll dive into that. Also, the PWS scorecards, they will be available this coming Wednesday, December the 13th. So download those. You can play along with us when we record our podcast next week. We're actually going to record it on Friday. So I believe Friday night is when it's going to be published. So that will give you guys time to about 48 hours to listen to the show, play along with us, and fill out your scorecards. Send it to us at MarkOutMania on Facebook, on Twitter. Just check us out. Send us your cards, and we can compare how we do at Clash of Champions. Also, a new NWA World Champion was crowned. Sheamus has somewhat of a possible career-ending injury. We're not sure what's going on there. And then, of course, the big special guest we have coming up toward the end of the show, Matt Zion from Wreckless Eating will join us, talk some wrestling, talk about his channel, and it's definitely something you want to stick around for. It's going to be great to have Matt Zion on the podcast in just a little while.
Yeah, most definitely. You can check us out on our main hub, MarkOutMania.com. That's where you can get to our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube page, our Patreon page, Spreaker, Stitcher. No matter where you consume podcasts, we're probably on one of them. Check us out, MarkOutMania.com. Also want to give a big what's up to the people listening on our Discord server. Thank you so much. And the cool thing about our Discord server is you can listen to the show live and uncut while it happens. So if there's some shenanigery, you're going to hear it.
Yep.
If there is...
it's completely uncensored, too, because, every now and again, we're adults. We tend to drop some bad words, but we try and limit it.
Right. And then, of course, Matt Zion coming up a little bit later. If you've seen their channel, he may drop a few.
No vomiting, though. No vomiting. I did watch some of his videos, and... I tell you what, you can only watch so much of that, so, especially when they ate the live octopus, and then the one you showed me, episode 9, where one of the guys on there, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, Andrew, took a sip of, I think it was clam juice or some kind of hot, I don't know what it was, but he took a sip. I don't even know if it's a sip. He might drink half the bottle, but I tell you what, he threw up more than he intook from that bottle. So, and it was continuous every 5 to 10 seconds. That dude something was coming out of his mouth, man. It was absolutely absolutely crazy. So those guys at Wreckless Eating, man, they're doing some crazy stuff. Certainly a lot more crazier than anything I would do, man. They deserve credit for the content that they put on their channel.
It's got the dude seal of approval for sure. But if you're on our Patreon, if you're a $1 a month supporter, you could be listening to the show live and uncut on our Discord server right now. Also, when we do interviews, we're going to be recording them on video. We're not going to be doing the one with Matt today. But in the future, we will be recording people on video, and that will be an extra on our Patreon. That will be exclusive content to our Patreon, and of course, you can find that at MarkOutMania.com.
All right, so we're going to dive right into it. The Raw review, the big story from Monday Night Raw is that Matt Hardy is now officially broken.
Yeah.
And thanks to the consumer of terrestrial entities, that is what broken Matt Hardy described. The eater of worlds, Bray Wyatt. Matt Hardy put it in his own special little way. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up right now if you want. Well, I mean, I might as well. So I'm going to look it up here on YouTube, and we're going to pull it up, what happened with Matt Hardy basically going broken here. And let me turn this down because there's going to be an ad here playing real quick. So
way to go, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube and their ads. You just. But hey, it keeps it free, so that's what I like about it. So here we go. Here's the promo. It's about 3 minutes from Monday Night Raw, where Matt Hardy was finally broken.
Who is Matt Hardy? I know. The universe knows. But I don't think he knows.
For millennia, my soul has wandered through space and time, but not all who wander are lost.
Matt Hardy is a fool. A charade. An illusion to mask his own failures and insecurities. Matt Hardy knows nothing of what is actually real.
I am well versed in all facets of the multiverse. I have studied at the Library of Alexandria, battled alongside Genghis Khan, danced with Cleopatra, held symposiums with Plato, and meditated atop the Great Pyramid of Giza.
The ramblings of a madman can be very dangerous. Especially for those of you who listen.
Due to my condition, I have laid dormant inside this vessel called Matthew Hardy. But now, thanks to the consumer of terrestrial entities, I have been woken.
Last week was not Matt Hardy's breaking point. It was mine. I actually feel alive again. My heart is pumping, and there's a fire in me that is only growing stronger. But my fire will not cleanse you. My fire will not save you. My fire will make sure all of you burn.
Bray Wyatt, you left me with no choice. I sentenced you to deletion!
Yeah, so there it is. Matt Hardy officially, finally going broken here in WWE. And the cool thing about it is now they're saying how Vince is a huge fan of it. And, of course, they had the whole thing with Anthem and all that. I think all that's done with, obviously. I mean, the only difference is instead of being broken, he's woken. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if that's the only change they make to it, I am completely fine with that. I absolutely loved that 3-minute promo. Hell, they don't even have to fight. They could just go in the ring and cut a promo against each other, and that would be very, very entertaining in my opinion. But they said Vince is a very big fan of the move, the character change, I guess, and he's letting Matt Hardy, supposedly, that's what I'm hearing, giving him full creative freedom to do his broken gimmick.
Which is how it should be. That is gold.
That is awesome, yes. I am too fired up for it.
And the thing with Bray Wyatt should be booked much better than he is. They never should have broke up his stable because he needs a stable for the kind of character that he is. But that guy is an amazing promo cutter. I enjoyed Bray's just as much as I did Matt's, and God, I can't wait to see what Matt's going to do with this, man. That's good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. I'm also looking forward to when Jeff Hardy comes back.
Yes.
As I'm assuming he'll be, Brother Nero, because he also was, I guess, in a way broken, but Matt Hardy really has been the star of the whole broken gimmick. And it was funny, I was looking on Reddit earlier. For the first time since 2005, Matt Hardy is getting more searches than Jeff Hardy.
Wow.
So Matt Hardy, a lot of people say this broken gimmick really saved his career. And I mean, and the fans, I mean, you hear it, the fans were very receptive of it when they saw it, and imagine when he actually comes out live,
yes,
and does something like that live. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens tomorrow night as far as Matt coming out live and doing this broken gimmick, whatever the case may be. So Broken Matt, really the big story out of Monday Night Raw this past week.
And I tell you what, he has reinvented himself so many times. It shows you how creative this dude is, because he's not the best wrestler out there. Obviously, him and his brother make a dynamic tag team, but everybody saw him kind of as the lesser brother.
Yeah.
And
it was always about Jeff.
Exactly. And every time Jeff would get hurt, he would have to go to singles, and he would just reinvent himself into some good stuff. Yeah. Obviously, nothing to the level of Broken Matt or Woken Matt Hardy.
This is top level stuff that he's doing.
But kudos to him for his creativity.
Absolutely. So Broken Matt Hardy, officially broken now in at WWE. Also, what went down on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns, it seems like he's defending his Intercontinental Championship now, sort of like kind of what John Cena did with the U.S. Open Challenge. Roman Reigns is a fighting champion, which I like that, and he defeated Jason Jordan this past week. Now, this is the thing about Jason Jordan I'm going to talk about real quick. With the whole storyline of him being Angle's son, I'm not crazy about it because as we all know, WWE it's scripted, and even if it's scripted, there are times where they do things that are believable. This Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's illegitimate son, I don't care who you are, is just not that believable, and people have not been getting behind it, I think, for that particular reason. But I'm gonna tell you what, though, the past few weeks, Jason Jordan, as far as cutting promos and his in-ring ability, he's not bad. He's not anywhere near like a AJ Styles or something like that, but he's cutting some good promos. He's sounding sincere, and he's making it believable that, based on the situation they put him in, I'm still, obviously it's still not believable that he's Kurt Angle's son, but it's believable that the fact that he's hurt, he's been hurting, he wants to do well, he's, and he wants it, and it seems like he's very sincere. So I do praise Jason Jordan on his promos are improving, his in-ring ability is getting better, it's improving. So all that WWE needs to do is kind of get him, a good storyline, like develop his character, a little bit better, because he has, he's going to have the promo skills, I believe, and he has the in-ring ability as well. So hopefully WWE develops his storyline and his character the right way, and not just kind of, I don't know, have him ride Kurt Angle's coattail or whatever they're trying to do between him and Kurt. So I don't know what they're trying to do with him right now, but there's a lot of potential for Jason Jordan, and I think if they go in the right direction, it could be a really big hit.
Yeah, I saw something on the 434 the other day, and before I say that, 15 minutes, Matt Zion's going to be giving us a call here on Mark Out Mania, so stick with us. Matt Zion from Wreckless Eating. The thing that the 434, one of the guys on there was saying was he would like to see, and I think this could push Jordan over the top. He was like, he would want to see Jason do a heel turn and be a super cocky, but yet, show his wares in the ring type guy where he can talk the talk and he walks the walk? Because obviously he has a great amateur background. So we all know he can go.
Oh, yeah.
He can do it. But he thinks that heel turn and the cockiness could actually make him more believable.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe him and Kurt have like a falling out. And then, finally he's just like, screw you. You were never there for me. I'm tired of chasing your,
because it seems like, the storyline's going right now that Kurt Angle, when Jason Jordan's hurt, he's like, you're not 100%, man. I can't let you wrestle. Like, he's kind of, in a way, holding him back. So I could see somewhere down the line where obviously, and, look, they even had a storyline where Charlotte betrayed her dad. So I could easily see a storyline where Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan betrays Kurt Angle in some sort of way, and hey, you never know. Maybe somewhere down the line, those two could have a match, and I think those two could put on a heck of a match. So that would be that's an idea down the line. Maybe next year at like a SummerSlam or Survivor Series of next year, that would be something cool to see down the line.
Heck yeah! What we got next?
Okay, so the tag team titles were on the line. Last Monday night in the main event, The Shield, Rollins and Ambrose trying to get their titles back against The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. And, what happened was I think it was a no disqualification because initially it was it ended in a disqualification, and Kurt Angle comes out and says, no, this match is going to restart, no disqualification. Well, then Samoa Joe comes out, gets involved, and then Reigns comes down, gets involved, and Reigns kind of fights off Samoa Joe, and then inside the ring, Sheamus hits a bro kick. I can't remember if it was Ambrose or Rollins, but hits a bro kick on one of them, and then Cesaro pins him for the 3 while Reigns is off chasing Samoa Joe. They retain the titles, and now it seems like The Bar and Samoa Joe might have formed some sort of little faction here. And I know this Monday night on Raw, each member of the Shield will go one-on-one with Sheamus, Cesaro, and Samoa Joe. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be who. I think I might be able to pull it up here real quick on the WWE. Here we go, right here. So it looks like, based on this graphic I'm seeing right here, it says The Shield battle The Bar and Samoa Joe in 3 singles matches. From what I can see here, maybe it'll be Reigns versus Cesaro, Ambrose versus Samoa Joe, and then Rollins versus Sheamus. That's what it looks like based on the graphics. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Because I think you could have a 3-on-3 match with the Shield, and then Cesaro, Sheamus, and Samoa Joe. I think that would be a really cool 3-on-3 match. So that's kind of really the big things happening on Monday Night Raw right now. We're going to go ahead and jump now over to SmackDown from last week. SmackDown, they're getting ready for Clash of Champions. They do have the let's see. I had the card up. Let me get it back up here. But
and of course, with the Clash of Champions, while you're looking that up, let me tell people again about the Pro Wrestling Scorecards.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pro Wrestling Scorecards are going to be available Wednesday. We will put them on our Twitter feed. We will put them on our Facebook page. Go ahead and download them. Play along with us while you're listening to our podcast. And we're going to go on a special time on Friday so that you got enough time to fill out your scorecard before Clash of Champions on Sunday.
Absolutely, yeah. Fun stuff there. Clash of Champions, I don't expect it to be a very, very big pay-per-view, but it is Clash of Champions. All the titles on SmackDown will be on the line. I'm going to go run down the match card right here. The match just made earlier, actually this past week after Randy Orton defeated Sami Zayn. Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura will team up to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Shane McMahon, the special guest referee, and if Owens and Zayn lose, they will be fired from WWE. Not just SmackDown, WWE. And Shane was very specific about that on SmackDown. Other matches, the Fatal 4-Way match now for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Initially, it was a triple threat tag team match, but the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, will take on The New Day, and it'll be Big E, Kofi, and or Xavier Woods. Also, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. And the latest tag team, I guess, in WWE to really join the fun here, Rusev and Aiden English. And every day is Rusev Day, so maybe Rusev Day will be on 1 week from Today, it could be when they win the tag team championships. I don't think Rusev has ever won a tag team championship, and Aiden English hasn't won a title in WWE yet, so that would be interesting there.
That's quite an eclectic bunch.
Also, Chad Gable, he's also obviously was a former tag team champion with Jason Jordan. Shelton Benjamin, I don't know if he was ever a tag team champion. I remember he was with Charlie Haas when they had Team Angle. Were they the tag team champions? I can't remember. I want to say they were, but I can't remember for sure. Also, the SmackDown Women's Championship will be defended by Charlotte Flair against Natalya in a lumberjack match. So all the WWE divas or women, I'm not going to say divas, I don't want to use that term anymore, but all the women wrestlers will be surrounding the ring, and it'll be a lumberjack match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. The triple threat match for the WWE United States Championship. This has a chance to be a really, really good match. Baron Corbin will be defending against Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I personally hope Bobby Roode wins, especially after a lot of people were upset at the showing that they didn't let Bobby Roode really do much in that 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series. Him and Nakamura, because they were like one of the first two eliminated, I think, from that match. So really disappointing there that they didn't really let Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura, the two young, I'm not going to say young, but the two new hot things that you got on the SmackDown brand. So we'll see. I'm hoping Bobby Roode can come out of victory there. And then Dolph Ziggler, I don't know. There's a lot of questions about his WWE future, whether or not he's going to be around for a lot longer or a little bit longer. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And then, of course, the WWE Championship. AJ Styles will be defending against Jinder Mahal. So will Jinder get his title back? I don't know. We'll talk to Matt Zion about that in a little bit. But in my opinion, I think AJ should win this match and then go on. Let's just get a new feud here. You got the Royal Rumble coming up, and that's the thing. The WWE Championship will be defended at the Royal Rumble. And last year it was AJ Styles versus John Cena. So I think John Cena, he was just on Team SmackDown. I guess I wouldn't be upset if John Cena and AJ Styles fought again, because they really did put on a great match at the Royal Rumble last year in San Antonio. But in my opinion, let's get something fresh. Let's get a new AJ Styles and Bobby Roode. I'd like to see that. Or AJ Styles. And I don't know if they're saving Shinsuke Nakamura for WrestleMania or not, but so AJ Styles wins that match. I really have no clue where they're going to go after this. I just hope it's not AJ versus Jinder at the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble, I don't want that. That's the reason. Survivor Series, you were going to have Jinder versus Brock, and then that changed last minute. So I don't know how they're going to book that. But what do you think?
Yeah, the things that glare out to me about this card, number one is Rusev and Aiden English. It seems like, because it first started with Sheamus. You remember they pushed him like crazy?
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, he really didn't necessarily go over. And then they put him in a tag team. They're doing the same thing with Rusev. They tried to push him like crazy, and he really didn't get that much steam from the fan base. And now he's a tag team. Who made that decision to put him with Aiden English? How does that even make sense?
Well, it's kind of like what they did with Sheamus and Cesaro. I remember before they were a tag team, they did that whole best of 7 series, and they hated each other's guts. And then I think Mick Foley was the general manager at the time, and he put him in a tag team. And all of a sudden, I remember Sheamus came out and saying they're having the time of their life now. So could this be the SmackDown version of Sheamus and Cesaro with Rusev and Aiden English? I don't know. I mean, apparently something's there that they just kind of threw him in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match at Clash of Champions. So the podcast next week, we'll spend a lot of time talking about Clash of Champions, as we'll fill out the scorecards and pretty much give our predictions and preview for Clash of Champions. Also, World Tag League Finals tomorrow, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Block A, the winner was Evil and Sonata with 10 points. The Block B winner were the Guerrillas of Destiny, and they were actually in a 3-way tie with War Machine and KES, which I think is, what's the name? I can't remember their name off the top of my head. The Killer Elite Squad or something that. Let's see, the Killer Elite Squad there, but Guerrillas of Destiny had wins over both War Machine and the Killer Elite Squad, so therefore, due to the tiebreaker, Guerrillas of Destiny was the Block B winner. So the World Tag League Finals, it'll be Evil and Sonata versus the Guerrillas of Destiny. We do have the full card up, but I'm not going to go over the full card because I don't want you guys to listen to 2 minutes of me butchering New Japan Pro Wrestling names again. So
You're good.
Well, what we're gonna do? Well, Brinkman said I was getting better. So, but we are kind of packed because we're getting ready to get Matt Zion on in a little bit. So, but what we're gonna do? We're gonna post that card to our Facebook page. So go check out the full card on our Facebook page. All right. Okay, we're going to talk about Rich Swann and all that stuff. Maybe we could talk about that with Matt. I don't know. Talked about the PWS scorecards. That'll be available on Wednesday. What we can touch on real quick before Matt Zion comes on, though, the new NWA World Champion. How about that? Tim Storm falling to Nick Aldis at what? Do you know what event it was? It was like a CZW.
Yeah, it was a Combat Zone Wrestling. Yeah, and they had a lot of people there.
Yeah,
that indie promotion's got it going on. But what gets me is why is William Patrick Corgan going by his 3 names? Doesn't he know that sounds very serial killerish? I mean, every serial killer that's worth anything has 3 names.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, it was at a CZW event, and Nick Aldis, who was Magnus in TNA Impact, is now the NWA World Heavyweight Champion of the world. I didn't get to see any of the match. I saw the finish. We posted their first match on MarkOutMania's Facebook, and there was a lot of controversy around it because people thought that Tim Storm used the ropes to gain unfair leverage to pin Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis went on social media and was blabbing about that too. Then Tim Storm recently fought Josephus for the title, and Josephus came in and attacked him after the match with a ladder. So was Tim Storm compromised in this match? Was he still licking his wounds, per se, from the attack from behind from Josephus? And that gave Aldis, the opportunity to come in and take the 10 pounds of gold? I mean, I guess we'll never know because, Tim's a consummate pro. And when it's time for him to go, he's going to go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if he's hurt or not. He's in the ring. His music hits, he's walking out. But was he ready? I don't know.
Well, nonetheless, congratulations to Nick Aldis, man. New NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe Tim Storm get a rematch somewhere down the line. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, quite possibly. He was saying, on a lot of the vignettes that they were having, this was his mountain. And, he didn't know what he was going to do after he lost the title. Was he going to continue wrestling? Was he just going to go ahead and retire? He's in his 50s. He's a
better in age, but he can still
he's
go.
He's an elementary school teacher or middle school, one of them.
Yeah.
So, who knows? I also hear we might possibly be booking him pretty soon in 2018 here for Full Throttle Wrestling here in Lake Charles.
That would be cool.
So we might see him and James Beard again.
Also, you said something about Austin Aries the other day, too.
Yeah. I passed that past the promoter. I passed that by the promoter. And I said, man, what a great match to put on the marquee. FTW Heavyweight Champion Mike Dell versus Austin Aries.
What?
And, he said, let's see what it takes to make it happen. So he's working on it. He said he's got the contact information for Austin Aries and a bunch of TNA guys. So 2018 might possibly be a great year for Full Throttle Wrestling here in Southwest Louisiana.
That would be awesome. Now, since college football season is pretty much going to be over with at the beginning of January, I'll be able to go and hopefully life for me won't be too busy. Usually, the turn of the new year, it's not as busy, so I definitely want to go see some Full Throttle Wrestling because I think I've actually gone and see it before. I want to say I've seen it before, but it was quite a few years ago. So, and I always enjoy those. And obviously they do it at the Lake Charles Civic Center, not necessarily like a, what's the word I'm looking for, like a VFW hall or something like that. But I did post something on Thursday. It was a throwback Thursday. It was AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, which at the time he was Bryan Danielson. I started watching that match and then I got sidetracked. But I tell you what, the pieces of that match that I watched, that right there is the most beautiful wrestling match you may ever see. Those two guys put on. I mean, those people got a treat that night because that was in there was maybe 50 people in there watching that match, and all 50 of those people, if I would have been there that night, that would have been a night I never would forget because those two guys, and even at the time, they were some big names, and to get those two guys to go in that setting and wrestle and put on that great of a match, holy smokes, I mean, that was really cool. One more thing before we let Matt Zion on.
Yes.
There's a story with Sheamus. Apparently, he is that he's suffering from spinal stenosis, which is the same thing that ended the careers of Edge and Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's rehabbing it. I don't know how serious it is. Apparently, he's still wrestling, so he's fighting through it, but it causes some concern, obviously, because if it ended Edge's career and Stone Cold's career, I mean, how much longer does Sheamus have? And Sheamus seems like he's really hitting a stride, especially with Cesaro now. And Sheamus has always been put on some great matches. I mean, you can go back and watch. There was a match, I think, in 2012. It was at Extreme Rules, the month after Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania in, I think it was like 18 seconds or something like that, the shortest title change or whatever in WrestleMania history. The month after that, 2012, Extreme Rules, the same one where John Cena and Brock Lesnar may have fought. I'm not sure, but it was a 2 out of 3 falls match between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. If anybody gets a chance, go watch that match. That was a really, really fantastic match that Daniel Bryan and Sheamus put on way back when. So just some unfortunate news for Sheamus, and we'll see how that affects him and his wrestling career going forward.
Now, does it say what spinal stenosis is right there? Is it like the thinning of the spine or something?
No.
Let's go ahead and highlight it and then Google that.
It is the thinning of the spine, because I did listen to somebody. I was listening on YouTube, and somebody was talking about it. I think it was might have been Dave Meltzer or Brian Alvarez, one of those guys. Let's see, spinal stenosis. I got it here. Look right here. Look, a narrowing of the spinal canal. I mean, that's basically what it is. I'm not a doctor. I don't know exactly what that means.
But you did stay in a Motel 6 last night, or whatever that commercial was.
Yep, I did stay in a Motel 6 last night. Very cheap price. So,
the only thing that I can say about that is he's got to get out while getting's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if he wrestles for a few more years, who's to say he can't walk after that? I mean, I don't know if he's married and if he has kids.
No, that's the thing. Sheamus has a very...
I mean, you're going to want a life after wrestling.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's why Edge was like, I'm out of here. I
mean, that's kind of like football. Like, you had that, middle linebacker for San Francisco, Chris Borland. He was amazing. But he was smart enough to say, you know what, I've had concussions in the past. I'm getting concussions now. It's not worth it. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to eat my food when I'm 46 years old.
Yeah, you're right.
Or walk around and play with my kids or grandkids when I'm 58,
Mm-hmm.
So we've been teasing it all the show. We finally had Matt Zion with us. Matt, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going great, man. Thank you so much for giving us your time, bud.
Yeah, no, for shizzle. We set this up. I bailed on you a couple times just because I'm busy bee, but I wanted to try to make room for you, so I'm glad to be here.
All right, before we get into all you got going on, I want to fire off some quick questions so that our listeners can get to know you on a more personal level, all right?
All right, go for it.
Autobot or Decepticon?
Neither. Don't care.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Skittles or M&M's?
Oh, Skittles are my all-time favorite.
Nice. Xbox One or PS4?
Neither. I'm Steam, PC guy only.
There you go. Long walks on the beach or cuddling on the couch? This is for the ladies listening.
Oh, couch. I'm fat as man. I don't know if I can curse, by the way. Sorry.
Hey, we're going to bleep you out. It's all good.
All right, good.
Afro or mullet?
I would go afro. Mullet means danger.
Mullet means something's bad's going to happen behind that corner. Mm-hmm. All right, so you got a lot of things going on, like you said. You got your Wreckless Eating channel. You do Jobber Radio, which is a wrestling podcast. You do Wreckless on Wrestling. Tell us how you guys started, like with your channel. I know you guys do a lot of crazy stuff, but how to get started? Was it one day like you guys were sitting around and you're like, dude, we've been doing this. Let's just film it.
For the Wreckless Eating side, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we did backyard wrestling for a really long time. We have a thing you can still find the old dinosaur remnants of it on YouTube. It was called New Omega Wrestling. So I even went to wrestling school for a cup of coffee and realized that I wasn't tough enough to do it. But we did that for like 10 years, and then basically everybody either started to get families or get too old. And then I wanted to do something else. I loved running a wrestling company, so but I was done with the wrestling portion. So I was like, hey, I like to eat. I'm fat, and my friend Chris likes to eat, and he's fat. So let's review some food and stuff.
Right on. Now, talk to us a little bit about Wreckless on Wrestling. How'd that come about?
So at Wreckless, well, I didn't do any like wrestling stuff for a long time. We first started by posting some of our old backyard wrestling stuff onto Wreckless Eating, and that got a terrible response. They hated that. They absolutely did not understand how awesome it actually was. So so I was just like, would you prefer that I talk about WWE or WWE? I don't know. I think it was WWE. Yeah, we switched over. Yeah. And they said yes, and so I just before I was doing actually segments and stuff on Raw, I just don't have the time to keep up with that. So now I just do the pay-per-views, and that's about it.
Right. Now, my favorite episode of all time has to be episode 9, and that was the Strastroming episode with Andrew throwing up every 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's absolutely a lot of people love that
epic video. Now, I know you said you got the Strastroming from Virgin Airlines. How many airlines did you try before you finally found one that would actually send it?
Well, I don't know if I don't know who actually sent it to us. It was some Swedish website. Because back in the day, I don't think it's the case anymore, but back in the day, Strastroming was illegal. So Strastroming, you couldn't actually send it by plane. You had to try to get a company that would send it by boat. But we found a Swedish company that apparently doesn't care about the law, and we purchased it through them, and they did ship it through air. Now I think you can get it, because that was kind of a big, I would say, it was incorrect information. The Strastroming cans don't blow up in air. Like, it takes a lot to blow these cans up. If you ever watched us have to open them for the episodes, we had to literally use a hammer to get it open, because they are just, the metal they use to kind of keep these things together is really, really thick. So now you can just go on eBay and buy them. It's actually pretty simple.
So you eat a lot of nasty stuff. You eat a lot of hot stuff. Which do you rather? Would you rather eat something that tastes absolutely like trash sludge, or would you eat something hot?
Oh, I like hot stuff. I'm a big fan of doing hot things. Yeah, I'll take hot stuff over gross any day. The problem is that my body doesn't really agree with me sometimes. I've had some medical issues before. I thought it was like hernias and stuff like that.
Oh, snap.
Nothing too bad, but enough to where doctors were like, well, you can't do that all the time. You have to kind of take it easy here and there. But hot stuff for sure.
Yeah, I saw you guys recently did another video on the hottest chip in the world, and I have 3 sitting in a box, and I'm absolutely scared to do it.
You'll be fine. So the nice thing about them, Pocky is the company. They're really nice people. They send us their chip every year to do. And they also send us all of their new stuff. So very, very nice people. But the nice thing about the Pocky One Chip Challenge is you'll never hear anybody go to the hospital over it. It's a really intense experience. But if for some reason, however they make the chip doesn't translate to having stomach pains or anything like that, you're definitely going to have a volcano in the bathroom the next day, but you'll be fine medically speaking.
As Ted Barris says, birthing the sun.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, so you got the Jobber Radio podcast that you and some friends do. What's up with this heat you got with Kofi Kingston?
Oh, yeah. No, I just like to troll Bomber. So the guy who runs this is Jake. He's one of my good friends. I've known him for... longer than Wreckless Eating. I used to do, it's just one thing a lot of people don't know, is I used to do WWF back in the day, wrestling music videos. So if you search on YouTube, it's RAWM 2000, so ROM 2000.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of edits for that kind of stuff. I did it for years and years and years. He still does it, but I stopped a long time ago because I decided that WWE didn't like or respect any of the editing people. They would have videos taken down and stuff. So, months and months of work making a video. But I used to do a podcast with him around the wrestling video editing stuff. But it's so niche, man. Nobody knows what that is. 20 people were listening. One day we just were like, well, let's switch it to a general wrestling podcast. And that's where we are now.
Right on. Now, where can people find you on the internet?
Just Wreckless Eating. All my social media is all the same. I keep it for my personal stuff. If you want Wreckless Eating in general for everything, it's just Wreckless Eating with the W in front of the R, like a car wreck. But for me personally, it's Matt Zion which is MATTZIONWE, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
Now, your favorite wrestlers. Are you a heel guy or a face guy?
I think I've never really cared one way or another. I like talent. So my all-time favorite is Shawn Michaels. I still think he is the best well-rounded wrestler of all time. Currently, AJ Styles is untouchable.
Yeah.
Dude, the dude somehow made Brock Lesnar look like he gave a shit again, so that was nice. But I just appreciate good guys who can work is really nice. So I was a big fan of Benoit back in the day too, before he decided to bow out without grace.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let's go down this list real quick. Your favorite WWE heel?
Currently or of all time?
Currently on the current roster.
Oh God, they're all so terrible though. Their heels are where they're not. I feel like they're not particularly strong in the company right now. I mean, I think the Miz is fantastic. Miz. If you say 5 years ago, you go, hey Matt, you're gonna say your favorite heel is the Miz. I mean, I would have just smacked you because there's no way. He was fine, but he wasn't anything special.
Right.
Especially he had a WrestleMania main event, probably the worst WrestleMania main event. I'd say it's the second worst because the worst of all time was Randy Orton versus Triple H. That was just easily the worst. But Miz has come along. Miz captures something that the heels don't get nowadays. Miz, you want to see him get beat up, but you also still like him at the same time because he doesn't have that X-Pac heat.
Yeah.
Where it's nobody wanted to watch X-Pac. That was the problem with X-Pac. You wanted to see him get beat up, but you didn't want to tune in to watch it. The Miz is awesome. I think everybody has a fond place in their heart for Miz. But they also respect the fact that he's really hateable and he's good at it.
Who's your favorite WWE face?
AJ Styles is the man. He's perfect. He's even with that Southern accent. I know obviously it's not part of his character. That's just who he is. But I think that gives him an extra little something that because who else has a Southern accent on the roster? He's it. Everybody else tries to hide it when they come up, and he just full out puts it up there. I think that gives him a little bit of an edge.
Well, I tell you what, I think his time in New Japan, being around Kenny Omega, helped him with his promo. Because I remember in TNA, it was kind of bad. And then when he came to WWE, he can cut a decent promo now.
I think he said he took acting classes under WWE's money. So a lot of them are. It's good. I mean, this shows you. It's one of the things that I think WWE doesn't get a lot of credit for is that Cena's learning a different language under WWE's dime. Styles is doing acting classes. I can't remember. Somebody else took acting classes too while they were there. I remember on a podcast and talking about it. But say what you will about WWE and all they do wrong, but it's pretty cool that they're offering all these little things to help improve all the performers.
Yeah. Who is the worst female wrestler on the WWE roster in your opinion?
Oh, Alicia Fox.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, she's garbage. She's been with the. Here's the thing. I think that they have worse in terms of some of their green people, so like some of their rookies. But she's been with that company for almost 10 years. She's been there for 9 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And she is just awful. She's a good character. I think she's fun. I like her crazy whatever. But, dude, for being there that long, how is she that bad? I don't understand.
She must have some dirt on Vincent K. McMahon. I don't know how you stick around.
I mean, I guess.
Who is the worst male wrestler on the WWE roster?
Some people might disagree with me, but I really, really can't stand Jinder Mahal at all. I feel like considering the position they put him in, he is just so boring. Technically, he's sound, but God, just do some moves, man. Like, watch his matches. He's a punch kicker, and my absolute least favorite types of wrestlers are punch kickers. I'd say he's my least favorite.
Yeah, no, you're among friends here. You won't get any jeers about that.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of Jinder Mahal, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, they just had their tour in India, right? And so they took the strap off of Jinder. There was some possibility that Brock didn't want to work with him. He thought AJ was more of a money match. In your estimation, Matt, how in the world do you go to India with this guy, not the champ, because that's the only reason why you pushed him to get the India market, and he goes back to India. He's not the champ. He jobs to Triple H. Is this a booking disaster in your opinion?
So you would side with, on our Job Radio podcast, you would side with Bomber, who runs it, because we had a big old debate about this, and I think he sides more with you guys, where he was like, it's unacceptable how they handled this. And here's my thing. At least they gave us AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar. That's all I care about. We got that, and as long as we got that, I honestly don't care how we got there. I don't care about India. I don't care about Jinder Mahal. I'll say one thing. If you hear, a lot of people are upset that Triple H beat him in India. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's a house show. Should Jinder have won? Yeah, 100%. But did he? Was anybody in 10 years? Will anybody care about this? No. Will anybody care about Jinder Mahal? No. So it doesn't really matter to me too much. The nice thing for Jinder is I'm happy for him, even though I don't like him. I'm happy for him because after he's gone from WWE, dude, he's set for life. He can go to any convention, any booking, and he's a former WWE champion. Good for him. Good job. But he was a waste of space. I stand by it. AJ Styles never should have lost the belt last year. There was no reason for him to drop the belt. They did that whole Bray Wyatt to Randy Orton to Jinder Mahal nonsense, and like, did anybody look better from that? I don't think so. I mean, we could have had this epic long AJ Styles thing that could have eventually rivaled and passed up Punk's. Because, like, I hate Punk. I liked him at the time, but I feel like him having one of the longest title reigns in recent memory is kind of a travesty when Styles could have easily had all these fantastic matches, and they dropped the ball with it. Jinder was a big failure. I'll agree with you that. I think he was a disaster. But again, in 10 years, will it matter? No, and we got an awesome Styles-Lesnar match. So, I mean, can you really complain? Because that match was awesome.
Now, pull out your crystal ball for us. How much longer do you give him on the active roster, and will they give him another strap?
So you mean Jinder? Jinder's never going to be WWE champion again. No, that's over with. I think he's going to be a consistent upper card guy, though. I do think that because they need heels bad. Like we were saying before with The Miz, they just don't have a lot of heels. And the problem is that they don't know how to make heels anymore because the moment a guy starts to become a really good heel, the crowd starts cheering him, and that's kind of the end of it. That's why you have this history of Cena and Roman Reigns where they're trying to push him as the top babyface, but then by extension they become the top heels. It's just really weird. I mean, I kind of miss the days that's why when Bryan was kind of on top for only about a year or whatever, it was nice having a babyface that people actually cared about.
Exactly.
Wasn't it so refreshing, like having a main event where people like Bryan's making a comeback and people are going like, yeah, instead of booing him? But Jinder is never going to be WWE champion. I would be very shocked if they gave him the belt again, especially because they took it off him in such a fast and quick order. But I think he's going to be fine, though. He's at least got a place. He's not going to go back to being like a Brooklyn Brawler or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into, I guess maybe we can call it the darker side of the business. Did you hear about Jasper Davis, the wrestler from Houston?
No, I'm not.
All right, so Jasper Davis was one time a Reality of Wrestling champion. He's been tag champion there a few times. This is Booker T's promotion in Houston.
Okay.
So he recently, I think it was 2 days ago, shot and killed his girlfriend. They have a 7-month-old child. And so the thing is, he says they got in an argument because he was flirting with a girl at a party. His girlfriend or fiance took the gun out, and they struggled, and it shot her in the face. So he dumped her body into a creek, and he got stuck. So he called his best friend to come get him unstuck. Best friend saw the body, said, "I'm out of here." He called 911. Then he called his dad. Apparently the dad did not see the body. And they got the car out and unstuck. Then, police got him and everything like that. So this leads me to my question. I'll start with you first, Matt. If Chris Wreckless called you up and said, "Matt, I'm stuck in a creek. I need you." You got there. You saw what happened, just like Jasper Davis. What do you do?
No, I mean, we've had this conversation before because we do so many videos. We've done the conversation of like, would you help me hide a body and stuff? No, I mean, and maybe here's the thing, maybe if it was some random stranger that me or him didn't know, I think might help each other hide the body. But if it's like your significant other or his significant other and you get there, no way in hell, no way. I'm not gonna be a part of that. I would even find it pretty questionable. Knowing him, he gets a lot of crap because his character on Wreckless Eating is very brass. Yeah. But like he is a sweetheart. He's a total sweetheart. I think he would melt down and he wouldn't be able to help. But I don't think I would help him either. I think that we're both too good of guys to cover up a murder.
Well, right on. Ding, ding, ding. Patrick, would you help your homeboy?
Oh, it's a tough. It would be a very tough situation. Obviously, you want to help your buddy out, but at the same time, you want to save your own butt and not get involved in something like that. But I don't know. I think deep down, I would probably say, "No, man, sorry. You're on your own. I'll help you out with anything else. Hiding a body, I draw the line right there."
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you guys. My homeboy's called Hambone. I'd tell him to watch out for his cornhole. I'm out of here. You're going to prison. All right, let's also talk about Rich Swann. So he just got arrested for possibly assault and kidnapping or holding. What was it?
False imprisonment.
Yeah, false imprisonment. So, as you know, Matt, he was scheduled this Monday for a number 1 contender match to see who was going to face Enzo Amore. How would you book that now?
I don't know. I want to add one thing that's been going through my head that I'm probably going to tweet out later. But I imagine because he had her in a headlock, right? And he took her back to the car because they were getting into an argument. But I imagine I think of him having her in the headlock and then his theme music going, "Can you handle this? Can you handle this?"
Oh no!
How would you book it? Here's my solution. It doesn't matter. 205 Live is terrible and nobody cares about it. They could throw anybody into that match and it won't matter. There you go.
Patrick, how would you book it?
Well, there's and I kind of agree with Matt that 205 Live not really going anywhere. There is one guy, because every now and again, I'll watch a cruiserweight match, and there's this guy, Mustafa Ali, who I think is one of the smoothest guys in the ring as far as just him moving around, cutting flips. I mean, the dude can really go. I would try and push him because he had a match, and I'll never forget this match. It was actually the night after WrestleMania. He wrestled, I want to say it was Neville, because Neville was the Cruiserweight champion at the time. And during the match, the crowd's, hitting the beach ball everywhere, and Mustafa Ali does this crazy backflip move off the top rope with Neville. It was, I don't even know what the name of the move was. It was almost like a backflip rock bottom is what it was. Like, that's the best way I could explain it. And just, if you ever anybody gets a chance, go watch a Mustafa Ali match. That guy, he's really, you watch some of these guys that are like, you talk about Alicia Fox, Matt, how terrible she is in the ring. You watch Mustafa Ali, you can tell this guy can really perform very well in the ring. I would certainly put Mustafa Ali in the championship picture because, let's face it, he's miles ahead of a wrestler than Enzo Amore is. And I think he's, in my opinion, he's probably almost like the AJ Styles of the Cruiserweight division. He can make anybody who's really not that great of a wrestler look tremendous.
Yeah. All right, tell me what you guys think about this. This is how I book it. So it's a mystery opponent, right? So we save it till the end of 205 or wherever they're going to put it. And so first guy comes out. I don't even know who that cat is, but first guy comes out. You're waiting maybe 20 seconds for the music to hit, and then it's Neville's music. Because he's been in contact with him. Supposedly went pretty well.
I heard it fell through recently.
Oh, you heard it fell through?
Yeah, I think it fell through. I mean, I'm not saying it fully fell through, but I think it took a bad turn. So I don't know for sure what Neville's return status is.
Maybe they put him on a red eye and just keep him on backup just in case.
I hope. I would like to see Neville back, because Neville's another good performer I enjoyed watching.
He's better off leaving. The problem with the 205, the whole concept is, it was so great during their tournament, their little special that they did. Like that's the way it should have been done, but that's because it was done with care and with careful planning. They have arguably the 205 live roster is awesome. Like, they have some of the best indie talent that you could possibly imagine, but there's no heart behind it whatsoever. You can tell Vince just doesn't. It's not his thing. He doesn't care. It's just there to fill some time on the network. And even if you look at the numbers on the network, it doesn't do very well. So it's kind of just there. Like, I would not be shocked if eventually they just canceled it. Mm-hmm. But like, the problem with Neville is, like, Neville should have been rewarded for how well he carried that division for a year by being brought up to the main roster, not being subjugated to 205 Live jobbing status. Same thing with Austin Aries. Like, there's certain guys that, Hideo Itami especially, dude, he should not be on 205 Live. That is just a death sentence. Enzo, I say that he's not very good, I agree, but he's one of the only things that I can even tolerate on 205 Live because he's so entertaining that, I mean, at least he's watchable. His wrestling, it's garbage, but, like, he's a fun character. 205 Live is just the worst, though. I can't watch it, even if I try.
I would say I still disagree with the fact that him and Big Cass broke up. I really enjoyed that tag team. They came to Lake Charles in a house show. about a year ago or earlier this year, actually in January, and they were still a tag team at the time, and they performed, and they had a really good chemistry together, not only wrestling but cutting promos and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were a really fun tag team to watch, and I was kind of upset when they broke up, and then of course Big Cass got hurt. He was heel when he got hurt. Now Enzo's playing the role of a heel, so I'm hoping maybe when Big Cass comes back, they could be a nice heel tag team, I think.
Yeah. And
they I think they broke them up simply because Enzo was cancer, and they didn't want Big Cass to be affected by that. That's my only reasoning behind it, because they were doing like almost as good merchandise sales as New Day was. Like, they were doing fantastic. So I think they broke them up just so that Cass wasn't gonna be pulled down into the pit that was Enzo.
And what I got to say about 205 Live is, all right, WWE, you bought WCW's video library. Go back and watch the cruiserweight matches on Nitro. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did it perfect. The cruiserweight matches on WCW were like the highlight of the show, in my opinion.
And WWE used to have, back I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had, I think it was a cruiserweight. I want to say they had some kind of cruiserweight or maybe like a light heavyweight division or something like that. And it was similar to the cruiserweight, although they didn't call it cruiserweight. They called it light heavyweight. So I think that was pretty much what it was. And I remember they had like guys like S.A. Rios and, God, I can't remember any other.
Dean Malenko.
Yeah, Dean Malenko, guys like that. And those were some pretty good matches. And I think, and then it just kind of dissipated into oblivion. And then they bring, the cruiserweight division back, and it's hit and miss for me, but I think when they lost Aries and they lost Neville, that kind of almost killed it right there, because the thing about the Cruiserweight division to me is they have the talent, but they don't have really the names. There's they have Enzo, but he's terrible in the ring, in my opinion, and Aries and Neville, they had the name, they have the ability. Those two guys, I mean, they could have wrestled each other every month of that Cruiserweight title belt, and I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. I work with a local wrestling promotion here, and we're trying to book Aries, so hopefully I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
That would be awesome.
Now, before we let you go, Matt, there's news that CM Punk is talking to Dana White about his second fight to get beat up again. Do you think we ever see Punk back in the WWE?
Yeah, I think it's a certainty, because Triple H has the same mindset that Vince does, which is it doesn't matter how much we hate one another. If we can do business, we'll do business. He'll be back. Everybody comes back. Here's the thing: if Bruno Sammartino came back, anybody can come back. That's it, because that dude was the one holdout where I was like, it'll literally be the end of the world before that man ever comes back to the WWE. And he came back. Punk will come back. He'll get like a WrestleMania main event or something. They'll throw him a bone because, why not? Business isn't like doing terrible, but it could be doing better. But I just don't care about him. I don't know. Like, it's so obvious what little passion he has for professional wrestling, especially after he left. I always held out hope because he was one of my favorites. But he just seems like he just does not respect the wrestling fans at all, and that's one of my pet peeves. Like, if you love wrestling, it's cool, but you got to love the wrestling fans too, because they are the ones that brought you to the dance.
Right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us, brother, man. I mean, the name of our podcast is Mark Out Mania. Man, when you said yes, I was totally marking out, dude, because I am such a fan of your content. I've been watching you for years. You guys do great stuff. I'm bummed out about hearing about the ad apocalypse, but you guys are still working hard at it, and I appreciate that, man, because not only me but countless others, we enjoy your content. Find Matt, Google Wreckless Eating, find them on Patreon, and that's a great way to support these guys and get some extra perks for helping them out.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. We got to have you on Job Radio sometime, too.
Yeah, right on.
By all means, though, if you ever want to have me on in the future, now that we've figured it out and it's not disaster getting Google Hangouts to work, we'll figure it out. Thanks for having me on.
Definitely. Thanks, Matt. Have a great day. Man, that was Patrick. I know I said I was marking out when he first said yes. Yeah. That was absolutely amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was really cool to sit here. It was your thing. You got him on here. You contacted him. So at first, hey, I let you do your thing, and it was really cool. I was just sitting here, just kind of hanging out and listening just to you two go back and forth. It was really cool. And then I jumped in, obviously, for a little bit there, got my thoughts in on some things. But yeah, big thanks to Matt Zion for really taking some time out of his day to come and join us, talk some wrestling, talk about his channel, Wreckless Eating. And, I watched some of his videos earlier this week, and I must say, he's a better man than I for doing some of the things that he does.
Or crazier, man.
It's cool that he's also a wrestling fan too.
Yeah.
So it's cool. You see these guys. He's almost in a way like a YouTube celebrity.
Yeah.
And to kind of get him out of that element, get on here, talk a little bit of wrestling, and of course they do have their podcast too. So it was really cool overall to have Matt Zion on here talk some wrestling with us, give his perspective on a few things.
Yeah, and I got to say big props to him because not only we had a lot of technical difficulties at the beginning. We were trying another platform. It didn't work. We were going back on Facebook Messenger a few times. We finally made it work with another platform. And he stuck in there with us. And, by all rights to him, he is a internet star. They got 600,000 followers on YouTube.
671,000 to be exact.
Yeah.
So that
he gets millions of views
that's about
per video.
That's about 670,000 and like 970 more than I got. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So this guy had every right to tell me, nah, man, I really don't have time for your podcast. It's only 5 episodes in.
Yeah, so it was a really, really cool gesture of Matt to come hang out with us for a little bit, talk some wrestling. So we can't thank him enough.
Yes.
And he said anytime we want to have him back on, we'd be glad to. Now we're not gonna overdo it, but certainly maybe around the Royal Rumble or before WrestleMania, it'd be cool to get him back on, get his thoughts on because in a couple of months things are going to be really gearing up between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. That is the hottest time of the year as far as WWE fans are concerned. Then we got Wrestle Kingdom coming up as well. I don't know how big of a New Japan fan he is, but he's certainly a WWE fan. So when things start heating up between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, maybe we get it back on.
Most definitely. So again, Matt Zion, you can check him out. Just Google Wreckless Eating. You'll find him on YouTube. You'll find him on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. You'll find him on Patreon. If you enjoy their content, I would ask you to go to their Patreon page and at least pledge $1 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so easy to do, and you won't even notice it in your bank account. And help them because that's his full-time job. Mm-hmm. He depends on YouTube and the money he makes from YouTube. Now,
and it's not easy to be a YouTuber at all. It's not.
Especially now with the adpocalypse. If you haven't heard about that, content that is not advertiser friendly, if you cuss, if you vomit, if you fart, if you do questionable stuff.
See, I would never make it.
Exactly. But that's the stuff they do.
Yeah.
And so their videos are getting flagged and their monetization is being taken off of their videos. So they're losing tons of money over this apocalypse. So the only way that they can survive are the fans. So if you enjoy their content, if you've seen them before, or maybe you're going to get turned on to them now because we talked to him and you're like, hey, this is a really cool guy. I want to check out his content. If you're a dude, you're going to love it. It's straight dude content. I'm pretty sure they have some female fans as well, but I mean, this is straight dude content. So if you like them, support them. They really need you. And that's how they will survive on YouTube. That's how they will continue to do content. And if not, they're going to have to go out and get jobs in the world. You know what I mean? They're going to have to go get a job, being an accountant or
we have to do actual labor maybe.
Yeah. Go out and be a contractor, because
or a not fun job because that looks, to them it's probably fun. Like doing this for us is fun, and it's almost not even really considered a job. It's more, it almost feels like a hobby, and that's kind of like what we're doing here.
Yeah, and with editing, with filming, with everything on social media, with the extra stuff that they put into this, they're putting in 70, 80-hour work weeks. Don't think being a successful YouTuber is easy. It's not.
Oh, no.
They have to sacrifice a lot to get where they are. So, Wreckless Eating on Google, search them out, watch their content, support them on Patreon if you can, $1 a month. I think everyone who's listening here can do that. But again, thank you, Matt Zion, for coming on.
Absolutely. So you want me to go ahead and wrap it up on here?
Let's wrap it up.
All right, man. Well, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Episode 5 of Mark Out Mania. Join us next week. We're going to be, I think we're going to put it out on Friday the 15th is the day. Is probably that evening sometime, because we're going to record it probably that late that evening. And so be on the lookout Friday night sometime for episode 6 of Markout Mania. We're going to be filling out the scorecards from PW Scorecards, and also where it's going to be our Clash of Champions preview show. And I think sometime this week we'll kind of go over our schedule for the holidays coming up as well, and we'll announce our holiday schedule also next week as well.
Right. All right, guys. Man, have a great time. Enjoy the Wreckless Eating content. Join us back early next week for a Clash of Champions special. And as always, remember, be safe, shop local, and be good to one another. We're out.
You've been listening to the Markout Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Markout Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Markout Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit MarkOutMania.com. You've been marked.